Hello, I'm Doug, and this is the Taste and Sensibility channel, and we are at day one of the 2020 Whiskey Advent Calendar. I don't know about you, but I'm about ready for this year to be over, and this is the last month starting up here. So I'm going to taste the 25 whiskeys in here blind and see if I can tell what they are. Now, this is a little different this year. This is all Scotch whiskey. This is all at cask strength. This is all non-chill filtered and non-colored. And it's all by independent bottlers. So it is certainly possible to go against the typical profile or the house style of the different distilleries in a set like this. So I'm barely able to manage this box on my tiny little set. But we are going to try. So this is the Secret Spirits Whiskey Advent Calendar from Secret Spirits. Jonathan Bray has been on Scotch Test Dummies and other YouTube channels a couple of times in the last few years, and he's the one that alerted me to this. So, and Scott and Bart did this calendar or other years of it a couple of times also. So I know it's high quality stuff. I'm really going after higher ABV things now. I'm going after more complexity on the nose and palate. So I thought this would be a good chance for me to try it. So I'm going to wrestle this thing open. Let me show you this thing all spread out without tipping over everything on the set here. So there are 25 holes for the 25 different days of the whiskeys. There's one hole that contains a glass, and I'm not going to open that. And there's a little booklet over here telling what all the whiskeys are. So the lists are available in this little booklet and online, and I have not looked at those, so I do not know where these are from. The hard part is going to be breaking into hole number one here, which I know is up here near the top. 01 right there. So here goes. I am breaking in, taking out the little disc, and taking out the bottle without looking at what it is. So, yep, there's a nice label on it. I didn't see any words. Oh wow, this is going to be hard. So I only want to pour out 25 milliliters. I think that's all I'm going to do. And then I'm going to drop it into this little lens shroud and put the label towards me so I can't really see what the identity is. Oh, that was stressful, but then I'll have to do it 24 more times. 01, yeah, that's the right way. Make sure I didn't pick 10. So, this is something I do every year. I do it blind, kind of to test myself. I'm also doing it to celebrate Christmas. This Advent calendar is not just a gimmick to me to taste a bunch of whiskey, but I'm a Christian, and I'm actually celebrating the entry of the Savior into the world. So that's what the nativity scene over here is for. I'm also excited about all the flavors and smells that God's given us and that we get to enjoy in our food and drink. And I'm thankful for wonderful sets like this that the Scotch Test Dummies have taught me about. So I'm using their glass today for the tasting. Just a little tribute to them for telling me about this set. These are still available from maybe 2015, 2016 is when the second edition came out. The first edition is gone, but there are still several dozen, 100, maybe boxes, sets of this that can be obtained. So if you are into blind tasting and into Scotch whiskey, that is there's an opportunity for people who like to try things that are a little off the beaten path. So I'm going to be smelling this now. Get a maltiness and some ethanol. Getting grassiness, kind of a freshness to it. No hint at all of peat. No hint really of sherry. I'm not getting any clues that would indicate any kind of sherry maturation or finishing. Ethanol is strong with this one. Just guessing from the nose, it's a good 50-55% ABV. I don't know what to do with my hands with all this stuff on the set here. My nose is usually my weakest part, but I've noticed a few times here and there where it's gotten a little better and told me things about the whiskey or the spirit that turned out useful later. There's an interesting note that's just beyond malt, beyond honey or light fruits. I'm thinking this may be a little Speyside-ish or Highland in that general area. If there's any kind of fruitiness, it's a light thing like apple, pear, peach. But man, I can tell the ethanol's up there in the 50s. Not a lot of clues coming off, but I'm very optimistic and very hopeful that this will be a wonderful dram that I will be able to tell something about. Okay, first taste. Wow, malty and hot. 55-60 ABV. Whoa. I think it's mostly straight bourbon cask maturation. Getting a little honey, some other kind of sweetness, maybe a fruity sweetness that's beyond honey, like even caramel and brown sugar. Little bourbon-esque notes. It's good and solid without peat, without much sherry influence. There might be maybe 10 or 20% sherry in the mix, but I think it's a single cask. It's a bourbon cask. It's not one of these blended things. It's going to be a single cask, so I'm going to go bourbon. I'd say it's young. It is vigorous, it's youthful, it's enthusiastic. So I'm going to say something like 8 to 10 year range, 10, 11 year range. So yeah, it's malty, and there was an extra something, an extra fruitiness. So I'm wondering if they took a single bourbon matured cask and put it in something else as a finishing step. I don't know if they do that in this set at all, but that would be a great trick to play on somebody the first day. There's something savory about it too. There's a baking spice. There's a meatiness or a meat broth-like note or character to it. Goes a little bit beyond the barley malt, the grain, the light fruits that sometimes come out. It's a good, strong vanilla character. I'm assuming from a bourbon cask. And then maybe a tinge of funkiness, like a Dunwich warehouse. Interesting. So I'm still leaning towards a Speyside distillery and or some Highland distillery that's nearby. Not getting a lot of saltiness. There's a salty note on my palate, but none of the other marine notes. It's not coastal. It's not seaweed and crabs and ocean and seashore. So I'm going to say inland. Wow. Just delicious. And I would say to the young side, 10, 12 years old. Speyside or nearby Highland. Bourbon cask. Oh man, this has to be between 55 and 60% ABV. It is aromatic. It's filling up my whole oral nasal cavity with wonderful aromas. Flavors are strong. And before I drink it all, I should add a little water. See what else happens here. And with that ABV, I'm not all that worried about adding too much. Wow, there's kind of a mentholy whoosh, a minty whoosh, an eucalyptus whooshy aromatic thing. So a lot of aromatic things going on. Lots of, once you start drinking it, you get lots of things on the nose that you know are aromas. Wow. Great. This is great. I love it. With the water, I would say the malt jumps out more. And there's still a savory note. There's still the eucalyptus or menthol, minty sensation. There's a lot of vapors from the ethanol. There's a lot of vapors from that eucalyptus type note. Yes. Okay, that's the way I'm going to call it. Speyside or nearby Highland, 55 to 60% ABV, 10 or 12 years. Bourbon cask and maturation, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if they threw it in some cognac cask or some other wine or fortified wine cask as a finish. But it sure did not take sherry notes. It was some other kind of fruit, not especially sweet. And something's making it a little savory, so I think it's time for the reveal. And it says 1999 Tomintoul 15-year-old. Cask type sherry butt. Cask number, and it gives it region Speyside, 61% ABV. So the ABV was definitely there in telling me I did not get the sherry. 15 years in a sherry butt, you would think I would have picked that up. So I got the region right, off a little bit on the year, on the age, definitely off on the maturation. So wow, that was great. I love it, I love it, I love it. So this is really fun. I'm going to enjoy these, and I saved 25 milliliters for somebody else to do this after me. So I think we're going to have a good time with this. So if you like the content that you're seeing here on this wonderful channel that seems like it's all about whiskey, but it's not most of the time, then please give this video a thumbs up, like and subscribe, leave comments down below. Tell me if you've had this a 15-year-old Tomintoul in a sherry butt. That would be interesting to discuss it. So I'm surprised I didn't get more sherry notes. But that's the way things go. So that was wonderful, and I am so looking forward to day 2. But that's all for now.